Tonight we'll be speaking with retired Major General John Enenche. Major General John Enenche is the pioneer Director of Defense Media Operations at the Defense Headquarters and a former Commandant Army War College in Nigeria. Yes, he will be explaining the implication of the growing coup trend that we're seeing in parts of Africa and West Africa specifically. What signals for Nigeria's own democratic development and how the region can reinforce stability in the face of rising security pressures. Thanks so much indeed, and it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Let me get your reaction to the release of these 100 schoolgirls. The recent attack on school, brought about a lot of tension as to what we thought the military at the time. And you remember when you were spokesperson of the DHQ, how schools were attacked and how the military was also helping civil policing to ensure that they had created an operation the Safe School and the Safe School Initiative, where an operation was created in that regard. But what's your take on the release of those school children, 100 of them?
My take is that the government and the security agencies have done a lot. And I believe that Nigerians will be happy for this. Why? Because it was like hope lost. After a long while, a whole chunk of over 300. And then the initial rescue was just about 40. But now 100. I can tell you that it is not easy, whichever way or means was used to get these children out. Of course, they will not tell you the nitty-gritty. But whichever way, like General Musa, the new defense minister, is saying that we must not, no more paying of ransom, we don't know yet. But whichever way, or even if it is true non-kinetics, or just bargaining and talking, or promises, or have to exchange something for another thing, give you free passage, release them. Nobody knows. But on the whole, that lives, 100 lives of these children have been saved, and we are sure that we are getting them. It's a good signal that the security agencies, they are being reactive. Of course, it's not good to be reactive, but what do? They are being reactive, reacting to issues of insecurity, kidnap, and all that has taken place. So my reaction is that we must commend our security agencies, because, like I've said, whichever way, whether I don't know whichever approach they use to secure the release, none of them is easy. So we must commend them.
And there's speculation that how do you easily go into the bandits camp and release 100? There must have been an exchange, cash for something, or there must have. And you've mentioned that whatever way it is. Can you blame Nigerians who are also distrusting the system? We're thinking, this government is playing bandits. Can you blame them?
I will not. I won't blame them. I cannot. Because, like I said, even while I was in active service, you don't know the real, like when there was a time that a committee, the railway,
derailment of
derailment, attack and all that, how were they released? Who knows? And sometimes you don't give out this information because it might be an agreement between you and the bandits. Of course, they had to narrow down to the mediators. Of course, from the media, I discovered that a lot of issues were coming up. Somebody collected money, didn't give the bandits and all whatever and all that. So, but the emphasis, just like if I go back a little, is just like the Chibok girls, whose location, according to information we got them, was located. But because of collateral damage, they were using them as shield. That was how that one went until we didn't see those girls. The same thing could have happened. That is why sometimes they may not come up openly to tell you the mechanism that they use to do them out.
How technically difficult is it to be able to, because what we know is that most of these bandits and terrorists use these children. They go into vulnerable spots because they know the military cannot attack them because of collateral damage.
I will tell you, there's a recent example of which a team that I packaged in Benue State, they released those ones on Wednesday last week. 15 of them were kidnapped from Udenu local government in Enugu State, taken to a forest in Orokam, the village where I come from. I will talk much about that later if there's time, if time permits us. And when the local vigilantes and the army operation, I think West Stroke, the police, the 2 DPOs, they went together to the forest, to the enclave where they kept them. They used them as human shields.
So it's not difficult.
It's difficult
for you to attack them.
For you to attack them.
So those who are saying that, why don't you attack them, flush them out? You are risking the life of these people.
Risking their life, and by the time they pass through their where they have they mounted their scouts,
yeah,
they open fire.
Wow.
I'm just telling you something that happened Tuesday, Wednesday last week.
Wow. In Benue.
In Benue, Orokam, in my village.
Yeah.
So it's difficult technically, and those are the reasons why they will not tell you.
So we need to applaud, no matter how this has happened. We need to applaud the security agencies.
Yes, we need to applaud them. First and foremost, for rescuing the people, the valuable people, people who have value for us.
Yeah.
Than using them as collateral for you know, as casualties.
And these guys are smart. They know what they are doing.
They know.
Yeah.
So that's why it's technically difficult.
Too. Now, I mean, the question will be, how did you allow them to move these kids on motorbikes for that long without, you know, no tracking and no technology to be able to? I mean, they went for almost an hour or more before they got into the bush. So there are a lot of questions on the mind of Nigerians about...
That is why we need to review our strategy, the overall strategy, technology. For instance, there can be a monitor. I got to know about that much later when I left the service. Satellite that on real online time, giving you information as they are moving. The moment you send the message, they are monitoring them. But the challenge again is that when you want to introduce this, the money they will call for you, the contractors or whatever, is huge, is scary.
But let me ask you, are you worried with this trend? And I mentioned the countries that are now under military regime, and the recent coup. Guinea-Bissau is another one. There's an attempted one in Benin Republic, which could have happened. And you saw what happened, the agitation within the military, and some boys within the military who are agitated in Benin Republic. Benin Republic is as close to Oyo State in some other...
It's our neighbor here.
It's our neighbor here. And the rumors of coup that we heard recently in Nigeria, does it worry you as a retired general?
It doesn't worry me, but it concerns me. It's a concern. I'm just using semantics. When I mean worry, I'm not too worried that it can happen in Nigeria. That one is out of...
Is it a possibility?
It's impossible for me. I stand to be corrected. Why? Because of the training, the orientation in Nigeria after the last school in Babangida or Cas school or thereabout. And for about 30 years now, 35, even when we were in MBA, the training and the teaching, the orientation you are giving is that the military government is out of it. Because we were even the first organization to fill it. What about our equipment? What has happened to our equipment today? The equipment we are supposed to be exchanging, military equipment, we exchange, you know, restocking and all, it stopped that time.
Under the military?
Under the military.
So the military is not better off
at all. At all. We are worse off, and we are still suffering it now. So how will it come? So any person, any military man, sure, the training, the breed of officers we have now, and to some extent the soldiers, they will not. So it's not a worry.
When I was between my primary school and about secondary school, I think that's a period where Nigeria had the most military coup. There was a 13 years where there was almost about 4 or thereabout. Some of them were bloody, some of them were bloodless. But I experienced as a young Nigerian growing up, seeing how military intervention and interregnum into a democratic rule has happened. And I lived most of my growing up also under the military. And I could see what that could mean. But in the implication on our democratic governance, that is what my worry is. I mean, for someone like you who pioneered speaking for the defense, what do you think could have been causing this trend? It seems to be...
In West Africa.
In West Africa.
The trend is that their rate of geopolitical development is not as deep as that of Nigeria. What do I mean? I've just told you that the orientation we got and we have now is that democracy is the best. However bad you look at it, is the best both for the military and for the civil populace. But for them, they don't have that teaching. They don't have that belief. And more importantly, it's like they are angry. I want to be, careful with my choice of words. Yeah. Angry with their colonial masters. Yeah. You realize that most of them are Francophone countries. Yeah. And now the last one that happened, to the best of my knowledge, was Gambia, where Jammeh became transited to civilian president and all that. But you will hardly see a coup again in an Anglophone country. So it is, would I call it, anger against their Francophone masters. Yeah. Because if you look at Mali almost severe tests with France. What does that speak to us? So the concern is that particularly for a close neighbor, or close neighbors like Niger and Benin Republic, we have our kinsmen, tribal people, Yoruba, in Republic of Benin. And you have businessmen from Nigeria who are settled in Cotonou now. Yeah. So what will happen to them? Businesses will collapse, and then there will be migration. If there is insecurity, and migration of people from Republic of Benin to Nigeria.
And Libya experience is
here. Yeah. If you talk about Nigeria, the same thing. So it has a lot of economic implication and insecurity implication for us, negatively.
General, give me a moment. But when I come back, is perhaps how we round up is what we need to do, especially political leadership in this country. This agitation, this uprising by civil populace, how we can use it to stem the agitation by the Nigerian people. We'll be wrapping up on that. We'll take another break. I'll be right back, everyone. Thanks again so much. Our concluding moment with Major General John Enenche. So, if we don't want the worst to happen, how do we prevent it? Is it a warning to political leadership in this country?
If we don't want this insecurity to continue, two things for me. Security is very expensive. First and foremost, let us now treat security with all the seriousness that is required. Just like the federal government, the commander-in-chief has declared the state of emergency, which wouldn't have been difficult ordinarily for any president, a politician for that matter, to do that because of the backlash. Having done that, I would want to suggest that the kind of importance funding given to constituency projects should be given. If you don't have a safe constituency, what project are you going to do there? So if our politicians can come and say, decide, let us now fund security. You know, Nigerians have been grumbling and talking about the constituency projects, the money they give to senators, give to House of Rep and all that. Why don't we now secure the constituency first? Before you now say you are going to give them money to go and which development will happen? So indirectly that money will just be going to pockets. That is one. Then two, we should now go to indigenous homeland security. The model we are using in Ogbadibo local government, particularly in that my area, bordering Nsukka, indigenous homeland security, whereby you now engage the youth. Some of them are ready to stand now and secure their territories against bandits and against whatever. That is what I would suggest. You don't need special recruitment. You don't need special screening. Somebody carrying HIV can be part of that force. Somebody carrying hepatitis can be part of that force, but they will not easily go into the army. No, they want to live where God has put them. So those are my two suggestions. Let them fund them in a manner that they fund, giving money for constituency projects and all that, and secure the area first, the villages first, before you cannot talk about developing the localities.
Major General John Enenche is the pioneer director of media operations at the Defense Headquarters and the former commandant of the Army War College. Thank you so much indeed, and it's good to see you again.
Thank you, Hakeem.